Hey, welcome to another episode of Your Faith in Health Community. I'm your host, Pastor Jackie Jackson. And as always, on behalf of myself and our producer, Anita Alexander, we want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day to spend with us. And hopefully, prayerfully, we'll share some information with you that will improve your quality of life. Now, if you remember the last time I didn't talk about healthcare, or maybe I did, I don't think I did, so we're going to make up for that for a couple of minutes here. Listen, COVID has not gone anywhere. COVID-19, the coronavirus, the Delta strand, whatever, I don't know, American Airlines, whichever strands are hitting, they've gone nowhere. And we are still losing people. People are still getting sick, still going in the hospital. So I'm going to talk about two things real quick. One, I'm not going to tell you what you need to do. If you need to get vaccinated, if you feel you don't want to get vaccinated, it's none of my business technically, except I have to share the world with you. So if you're not vaccinated, if you don't want to do it for you, do it for people who love you. Do it for people who care about you. Look, do it for people who don't even know you, that don't want to get sick because you're spreading something, okay? That part is done. Healthcare. If you haven't enrolled, listen, we're going into November, and November is usually when most places renew healthcare, if it's your job related, or if you're going into the marketplace, that starts in November. That's Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act, depending on how you want to view it. They're both the same, but whatever makes you happy, right? It's time to get enrolled in healthcare if you haven't done it. Remember, if you don't do it, I think it's going to end sometime, it's 15 days or 20 days. But after that, if you don't do it, you have to wait all the way to next year, unless you have a life-changing event. If you get married, congratulations. Divorced, that might be a congratulations too. I don't know. If you're having a baby, if you just moved into the state of Ohio, you started a new job, whatever it is, just get health care. Because I'm going to tell you, one of the biggest reasons that people go into bankruptcy are medical bills. One trip to the emergency room, depending on what's going on with you, can wreck your whole life. I mean, it can mess your finances up. So just get covered. If you got children, if you got a wife, if you're expecting to have children or want to have a wife or a husband, get yourself covered. That's all I'm going to say about that. Listen, we have two great people here with us today, and we had one of them was a guest here last year, and now she's back with her. We have with us Crystal Barnett Blair and Kelly Gunnels Valines. So, ladies, I want to thank you very much for being here with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And it's good to see you again. Haven't seen you guys, it seemed like, well, it has been a while. It's been a year, at least a year. And you're here today to talk about the blood drive that you're doing on behalf of your brother, Rico, and your husband, or your late husband, David. And tell us a little bit about why you're doing it, what's going on, and talk about Rico and David. I could do that, but you do that.
I'll start, if that's okay. So Crystal and I, and our brother Ramon and Brandon and Johnetta and all the other siblings that we have are all coming together. We've been doing this since Rico was murdered. We've been coming together trying to bring awareness to what's going on in the community. We're losing people in our communities and our families left and right. So we have been coming together trying to make sure that Rico is not forgotten, making sure that people remember who he is. They remember that his case is not solved. They remember that he has children. He now has a grandchild that is after his namesake as well. And we want to make sure that we keep getting donations, because when you come into the ER, I work at UC, when you come into the ER, those blood donations are so important. Without those blood donations, people cannot survive. They cannot be treated. A lot of traumas need those. So this was one way to do that, was through the blood drive. Is why we started this. It was something God put on my heart when we had the cookout for Rico, right before COVID hit. It was in 2019. And we got the signatures that we needed at that cookout to have a blood drive. And so we've been doing it every year. We are uniting with Masonic Order, which David was a part of and I was a part of. I'm a past matron. And so therefore, they're uniting with us to do this blood drive. It is something that gives back to the community. It keeps Rico having a voice. And now in this case, we're adding my husband, who passed in April the 7th. So we're bringing awareness to heart disease. My husband had large number of PVCs. Those PVCs combined with his off heart rhythms, He didn't know how serious that was. He didn't know this was something to be concerned with. Um, that combined with him having a fall, the injury, not being active like he usually was on a regular basis, threw his heart out of rhythm, and then he had a heart attack, so he went into cardiac arrest. So really monitoring heart rate, your blood pressure, making sure that if you're diabetic, you're taking care of yourself, are all reasons to do that. Was my husband, and we were trying to honor both of them. They're both strong men that were part of our family. So we're just trying to make sure that we honor them and we bring attention to the things that took them away from us, that are affecting us and our community.
So you told us what happened with David. Why are you doing this in reference to Rico? And I understand it's to honor him, but what happened to Rico?
Rico was murdered. August the 24th, 2017, he was murdered. He was on his bike. He was at the car wash, and someone decided he didn't deserve to be here anymore. They took away his life because they decided he didn't deserve to have a voice anymore. He didn't deserve to be a father, a brother. He deserved to be part of this society. So therefore, Rico's not here anymore. So it's very hard to do this. However, it's necessary because it brings attention to the fact that we're still losing Black men, Black women. Children are now being shot. They have been being shot. It is getting worse. It is not getting better. It's not getting better. There's an alert that was put out there. There's now part of the system. So if someone's shot, it goes off to alert the police. It's not bringing the attention that it needs. I don't know what's going to change this. Other we pray to God. You know, we do this, we get active, we practice our faith, we do all these things. But unless we are all mobile and we are willing to speak up and talk and to get involved and not shy away, you can't be afraid. You have to take a stance for your loved ones who no longer have a voice. We stand in place of our brother's voice to say, this is not okay. He's not here. And so that is why we continue on. If it was one of us, he would be doing it for us. I mean, he would be pushing everything he had to give us a voice, to make sure that we're not forgotten, to make sure people knew he meant something to a community, not just his family, to the community of Avondale. It's people all over Cincinnati that knew Rico. They see these flyers and they just want them.
What was one of the reasons why? Because the story you shared with me the last time of what Rico used to do for the community, because I wouldn't want this to continue on without honoring what he did before someone took his life. Because my understanding, if I remember right, which is why you put into the gun violence memorial the objects that you did.
Yes.
It's because he would do cookouts for families who had to deal with that hardship, who had to deal with the trauma of gun violence. That was it. That was his give back, or that was his mission, or his heart to do for the community. And I just kind of wanted to mention that because, you know, I think that's really important. The work that he did, it wasn't his job. He didn't work for an organization that said, we're going to do this. It was just something that God laid on his heart to do, which is one of the things that helped to endear, because people recognized that this man was doing something that he didn't have to do to help them. So I just wanted to mention that part of him.
He was taking money out of his own pocket to put on cookouts and events in the community. He was losing friends left and right. They were being murdered. And he would step in and help those families. I don't think we knew how much Rico was giving back until the funeral. It was like a shock. Would you say, Crystal?
Absolutely.
So he wasn't going around going, look what I'm doing. This is me. This is who I am.
He did things undercover.
Yeah.
He did not want recognition. He did it from the heart. That's who he's always been. Rico's been that way since he was a kid.
And thank you for sharing that. I know that's painful, but thank you for sharing it. And I never met Rico, but I met David. The first time I met him was when you all came down to bring the objects for Rico when we were doing the gun violence memorial collection back at House of Joy. They let us come in there in February. Wow, February of 2020 is when we did that. And that's the first time I met him. And I met him at your home, and then at the blood drive. And the one thing I could say, each time I met him, he was cheerful, funny, And
Yes.
but one of the big things that really stood out is his support for you and honoring
Rico.
your brothers.
Yes.
That was a big deal. And I remember at your house when we came to do the show at your house, how everyone was. And I remember it was also a very emotional time for you. So even continuing to do this, I think that a lot of times some of the things we do in honoring our family re-traumatizes us, right? But we do it because we want other people to be okay.
It's never all about us. This journey is not all about us individually. Um, I know David had never given blood before. He didn't know he could. He's diabetic. He didn't know he could. He was hypertensive. He didn't know he could. Checked with his doctor. He could, and he was so afraid to do this, but he did it last year. And Crystal could talk about this. Albert, her husband, gave for the first time. They're both military. They're both veterans. I'm just gonna be quiet. You can speak about it because it was amazing to me. It was an amazing experience.
Yes, it was. It was. Unfortunately, I have not been cleared to give blood at this time because I was in overseas during the time frame of the Med Cal situation, so I have not been afforded the opportunity. Hopefully, they said they're supposed to be lifting that soon, so I can give blood myself. But at the time, yes, I mean, this was something that I've never ever thought to do before. But because of the giving of my brother, our brother, it's like, okay, yeah, I don't like needles, but I was like, okay, I'll try because it is something to honor him. And I grew up a lot without him because I did leave and go into the military, and I was gone for over 20 years. So uh, those years I lost. And of course, I can't get them back. And just as I was coming back into the fold and being able, he was taken from us. So a lot of years and a lot of time I have missed, and that time has been taken away from me.
I always like to say there's going to be a family reunion at some point, and the good thing about that one is
Yes.
ain't nobody going nowhere after that.
No.
You know,
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't change where we are now, but it gives us hope and gives us something to look forward to.
Yes.
So let's talk about the blood drive.
Okay.
It's going to be this next Saturday, November 6th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and then from 12:15 p.m. to 3 p.m. And the blood drive is at Wyndham Hall, and that's at 817 Wyndham. Am I saying that right?
Wyndham.
Wyndham. I said it right the first time. At 817 Wyndham Avenue here in Cincinnati, Ohio. So let's talk a little bit more about the blood drive, because that's what we're here to honor the family, but also to get people out so that
Yes.
there can be some more
Please.
life-giving blood. Because I
Yes.
understand, if I'm not mistaken, or at least it was,
It's a
they were starting to
shortage.
run short on blood. And I know if me or my family needs it, I want it to be available. So let's talk about this. How are we going to get what we need people to come out and do?
We need them to come out and give from their heart. We need people. We had people last year, at least 2 people I know of, that just called and said, I don't know why I want to give today, but I feel like I want to give, and I want to give to a cause. And they directed them right to our blood drive. And one of them had never given before. She wasn't even from this country.
Right.
So she gave, and it was amazing. So you have an opportunity to make an impact just by giving blood. You may never meet the people, you may never know their story, but the fact that you chose to give life,
Give life.
you chose to give life, and it's a choice. It's a beautiful choice, because at the end of the day, you replenish that right back. You get it right back. I give blood, I go quickly, maybe 15 minutes, I'm done. That's about how long it takes for me to give blood, or less. You give blood, you get up, they want you to rest a little bit. You know what I mean?
You don't sound like you rest a
Don't
little bit, though.
lift
No.
heavy objects.
No, not at all.
I really don't. I get right back out there. I wore a tutu last year. It was a dare.
I remember.
wore a tutu. But we come together as a family, and it feels like a family, even with those donors that are coming. We come for a cause. We tell their stories. We'll have pictures up that will show Rico's children. He has a son that has graduated with honors from college. He has a grandchild. He has another child that's right behind him, and then David has children. We have our marriage. We have our family, our unity. We have a picture of all of us as a family at that graduation. Rico was missing. David was missing. So in that incompletion, we are yet complete because now we're bonding with the community yet again to say, come and give blood, come save lives. Do it for peace, do it to save lives, do it to be educated.
Okay, and again, like I said, it's November 6th. That's next Saturday. Listen, if you're not, even if you are doing something, it takes 15, 20 minutes. Take some time out. Go give some blood. You never know when you or someone you love may need it. And so let's just go on and do our part. Let's do our share. Let's make sure if it's a shortage, let's make them just go, we don't need anybody else. That's what it should be. It should be so much of the things that we need, blood, food, whatever, that it's like we can't take anymore. But right now, since we're talking about giving blood, this is at the Masonic Hall.
It is.
And it's Wyndham Hall.
Wyndham Hall. I do want to say something. My brother-in-law, Albert Blair, Crystal's husband, could not give blood before. They reevaluated the whole questionnaire. And after him going through that last year, he gave for the first time, right? Mm-hmm. And he got emotional because I wanted to give, and now I get to give in memory of my brother-in-law, mm-hmm. who he loved. So here you had two brother-in-laws stepping up to be men and to give and to encourage and to be that strong man in the family, because that's who Rico was, and to show all this love. And so I think it's a beautiful thing. You may think that you don't qualify. Ask your doctor. Mm-hmm. These are the things I'm going through. Can I qualify? Will I qualify? And then they won't just take your blood. They check your finger. They do a finger stick to check your iron. They're going to take your blood pressure, your temperature, make sure you're healthy. You're not going to get contaminated by giving blood. You're not going to give anybody. They've taken all the precautions. You're not going to get COVID.
It's not going to come through the blood.
Correct. It's not coming through the blood. Right. They've taken all the precautions. You have safe seating. You don't have to worry about sitting on top of one another. That's not going to be the case. You will wear your mask when you come in like you did last year. Everything will be sterile, and you'll come in with that hope. You come out with this feeling in your heart like, I've done something that's really great. Mm-hmm. Last year we had a lot of O positive, O negative. Mm-hmm. It was amazing. Mm-hmm. I believe they had, was it 2 trips? The carrier had to come twice. Mm-hmm. So we want to exceed that expectation. We want to over exceed.
Tired of you come 3 p.m.
Yes.
We have goals we want to meet. We are 10 away from signing up to meet that goal. You can call Hawksworth. They will sign you up if you're not comfortable going to the website. The website information is there on the form. You go to Hawksworth's website for the blood drive, and you choose Rico and David. You choose in memory of Rico Gunnels and David Valines to give blood. You give it in memory of them and that date. It'll give you a list of blood drives to choose from. You choose them. You sign up. It's very easy. Put your name in, first and last name, your date of birth. They're asking for your email and a phone number. Hit submit. You're done. It's so easy. It's very quick, very simple.
It's easy. It's easy. And listen, 10 people. You may be sitting at home or been, you know how we are. Man, I wish there was just something I could do. I just want to help people. Well, here's a way that you can help. And something else that you mentioned, I want to go back and just touch on, and not spend a lot of time, but you mentioned one lady was not even from the country initially. Mm-hmm. And we know with so much mess going on in this world today, if you are immigrant or whatever term they want to use, I just say if you're from someplace else, other than here, there's so many people trying to discourage you, making you feel like you don't belong. Don't feel like you can't do it because you go, well, I wasn't born in the United States, or I only been here for a period of time. Mm-hmm. Check with your doctor. Do some checking. Mm-hmm. And if there's a possibility for you to come out. I tell you what, I would love to see it. I can't be there, but you know what I would love for you to tell me is that it was like a rainbow coalition.
Yeah, that's how it was last year.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's what I want to hear.
You were there last year.
Yeah, I was there whole time. Yeah. So let's get that. So 10 people. When this airs and you'll get the phone number, I double dog dare you to be one of the 10 that go. Okay, now I dare you to be one of the 50. So 50 people need to call and
Yeah.
sign up for that. And I remember also there was a table full of snacks.
Yes, it was.
My sister and my brother-in-law,
Oh,
they
listen.
had all the good stuff.
They were my
We're gonna
friend.
have Gatorade. Now they do provide drinks and chips and things like that to kind of refresh you, but we're gonna have our own variety of Gatorade. We have squeezy stress balls, and me and Crystal gotten together, gotten a massager. You put it in the chair, you sit there.
While you're getting your
and
blood?
before. We
Oh.
want you to be relaxed. We want that
All
blood
right.
pressure to be right so you don't mess up. And so you'll have an opportunity to, you sit in the chair, it's a pad that sits in the chair. You sit in that pad and it actually massages you from here, from the neck, all the way down to the back of your leg. Get the full massage. We'll clean everything. Already got the wipes to sterilize everything. But you will have opportunity to get that massage. There is one of the nurses who she didn't give until she actually started giving to our blood drive with our brother. And now she gives on her own. So if you can't make this blood drive, you say, you know what, I want to give, I can't be there. How am I going to be there? You can also call up Hawksworth and say, hey, can I make an appointment to give in memory of this blood drive? They will schedule you before or after. You give Rico and David's name, and we'll get credit towards this blood drive as a donation.
I think what would
you can
help
give
people
anytime.
call is if we do a example with me with the massager. Do you have it?
Yeah,
I think people would, they would just call in if they could see me now, just relaxing.
We didn't bring it, but we have those squashy, the funny face funny face emoji balls that you squeeze. Those, and I got some different varieties too. So we've got a lot of things that we have to offer this year. I didn't want to overdo snacks, but I think we're gonna do snacks maybe again this year.
How do you
I don't know.
How do you overdo snacks?
We want people to feel healthy.
Right.
But the one nurse I was
You
telling
can
you
get
about,
some
Sarah,
snacks.
Sarah is going to be there to talk about heart health.
That's a good
So if you
thing.
have a question, she's a trauma nurse. She works in our trauma bay. And she said, Kelly, what can I do? Every time I met your family, they were loving to me. She said, your husband, David, was so amazing. I'm so sorry. How can I give back other than give blood? 'Cause she gives on her own. She gives the red cells. So I do whole blood. She does red cells. She sits on the machine. It pulls everything out, puts it all back. And she's able to give double doses. So she just goes.
What is a double dose?
You pull out, you're pulling out the red cells, you're pulling out the good, and you're taking out, separating the red from the regular. It's a separation of the blood. It's separation so they can get more out of it.
Okay.
They're getting more of a donation out of that blood than just getting my blood. So if I give a whole blood, it's just one donation. Hers would count for two.
Okay.
So it's a
They
double.
take it out, put it back.
They put
take
back
it
in the
out and put it
good.
back. Well, I mean, definitely the
They
good.
put back in the
no,
good.
but I'm saying they're taking it out.
Yeah.
Then they get what they need.
They give it and they
then
put it
get you
back.
back, and then they say, "Let's do this again. It was so much fun."
It was so much
so
fun.
they take some out, and so that's double
Yes.
the people that are able to
Yes.
receive.
They're able to receive. Sickle cell is huge in our community. Sometimes you'll get a card if you're a match for someone that's been waiting for blood and they need it. They'll send you something saying, thank you for your donation. It's rewarding to get says, thank you for your donation. You just helped someone who has sickle cell, someone who has cancer. So when you give, it is going towards people who are in need. Like, it's not just sitting on the shelf. It's not going bad. It's being used. Every
you don't have
part
to
of
wait
it.
on a disaster,
No, you
because
do
a lot
not.
of times you hear the Red Cross when there's a hurricane or something. You don't have to wait on that. You can go ahead on and go out and donate and help somebody. Listen, we don't need to know who our blood or whatever work that we do. We do it unto God. Right. It's not important that we know how. We just need to send it. You plant the seed. God does the watering.
Yes, he does.
and the sunshine and the growing. Just do your job, plant the seed. In this case, plant your behind in a chair, stick out your arm, and make a donation.
Yes.
And that's what we really need from you.
Absolutely.
Well, Crystal and Kelly, I really appreciate you being here. It's an honor that you allow me to talk with you about your brother and your husband. and the work that you're doing. I did meet your husband, so please tell him I said, if I remember right, he's Army, right?
Yes.
Right, and David was Army, right?
No, David never served.
He didn't serve.
No,
but
he was a
but
master
he was
craftsman.
Army.
But he never served.
Well, he served.
He served in the
He
kingdom.
served, and at the
Yeah.
end of the day, that's far
They
more
both
important
do,
than
both of
any
them.
serving that we can do, no
Yeah.
matter what it is. I thank you. Thank you so much. And, since the day I met you, you've become close. And thank you again. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for honoring Rico. Thank you for honoring David. And we want to thank you for taking out time. Again, our producer, she's going to put up all that information. So it's not, you go like, well, I didn't get a pen. I didn't get a chance to write it. It don't matter. She's going to put it up. You can call. Remember, 50 people, 50. That's 5 times this many. 50 people. I need you to go ahead on and call. We need to make next Saturday for this blood drive just so crazy that they need to try to add an extra day. And
Amen.
you never know when it needs to be for you.
That's right.
So I'm just saying that. So as always, we thank you. I know with the information these ladies gave that it's something that can, will, and definitely should improve your quality of life. And we thank you for tuning in. And until the next time, remember, stay faithful, stay healthy.